Hey, everybody, welcome to Hearside. I'm Patrick,
And I'm Paul.
and we're going to be talking about the future of Mission Impossible. Now that Mission Impossible Final Reckoning is out, and Tom Cruise, okay, let's face it, Tom Cruise may continue. We can talk about whether or not he should continue,
Yeah.
what we think about if he did continue, but also what we think about if he didn't continue. Because, Paul, I think the fascinating thing about the Mission Impossible franchise is it's become a staple. It's a 30-year franchise at this point. Okay, built around Tom Cruise, and fair play to him for doing what he's done for cinema.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, good one. But it's become a Bond style franchise insofar as its length of running, number of entries. Tom Cruise cannot be in it forever. So let's just take the hypothetical, Paul.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise doesn't continue as the main character in
Mhm.
Mission Impossible. I think that it should continue. Number one, it definitely will continue because they revived an old TV show and successfully made a 30-year movie franchise out of it. There's enough money. You're right. Money, 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 money.
Yeah.
But where would you like to see Tom Cruise's future in all this?
So yeah, I think him kind of taking more of a backliner kind of thing, like either the director of the Mission Impossible Force or the IMF,
Yeah.
or just being kind of a ghost character, just kind of thing that they can kind of pop into every now and again just to kind of see, I guess.
I
Um,
I kind of dig that. I would like to see him hand off the baton a little bit. So there's
yeah.
there's no point in saying that Tom Cruise shouldn't be a part of it all. It'll be a great way to transition an audience to somebody new. And whether or not I hate the whole handover cliche, but it works with audiences. You'll get more people in to the next movie if Tom Cruise is a co-lead with maybe not a new Ethan Hunt, but a new leader of the team. That's the great advantage it has over James Bond, not tied to the specific moniker.
Mm,
You can
yeah.
have Ethan Hunt, and then just the next person is the next person. Um, I did throw a random idea at you that I would love to see a 5 movie arc where they have Tom Cruise hand the baton over and disappear, and then have the next few movies kind of bad stuff be mysterious, and have Tom Cruise come back in the fifth movie as the Blofeld, as the overall villain.
Mm.
But I know that'd annoy a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, I can feel the kind of people. I think my guiding question would simply be why did he set up this team? But I do agree. Yeah, the handing off because they don't have the kind of 007 James Bond kind of caveat. They can just be like, yeah, new MIF operatives, new team. It gives the kind of refreshness into the franchise that it probably needs. It'll miss a couple of elements that have been cornerstone of Mission Impossible, but which is it will be able to kind of take it on as a new thing. I think.
Yeah, well, I think the great thing about it is that Mission Impossible and the Impossible Mission Force has had a ridiculous nature to it, and they have been fine with running the cliches from the movies. Little burn downs. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, self destruct in
Yeah.
5 seconds. The music is inextricably linked. And honestly, I think the thing that Tom Cruise himself, as like Tom Cruise, not just Ethan Hunt, what he's brought to it is this idea that the lead actor is doing their own stunts. Now, I'd
Mm.
ask, well, I'd more than ask, I would say that it might be a benefit going forward if there still is that vibe. But I don't think if you were to replace him and have a new team leader, I don't think they have to be a Tom Cruise does all their own stunts. I do think action set pieces are just a staple of the franchise now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think we're gonna put. I don't think we'll put actors in danger by going. Well, you have to do your own stunts, and this one is a doozy. I
Yeah.
do think that. Yeah, but I do think that centerpiece, the set piece of a lot of the Mission Impossible movies is that big one stunt kind of thing,
Hmm.
or essentially maybe even a few different stunts kind of put together to make one big one, kind of thing. So I do think that that needs to stay. That kind of
Hmm.
like big bold brass, which goes a stunt kind of coordination thing. but yeah, no, I don't. From that, I just think that if you stick with the original like feeling and kind of like, yeah, wacky kind of like you know, this is going to self destruct in 5 seconds. You know,
Yeah.
kind of like, all of that.
Pull
If
off
you,
the
yeah,
mask.
you, you will have. It's a pretty easy format to follow, kind of
Yeah.
thing. I
Yeah.
don't. It's a pretty hard format to get as right as they have, but I think you've got all the elements there to continue on with some new faces in
Yeah.
the roles.
And I would say that the Mission Impossible movies they kind of hit their stride, around the fourth movie in. I think Fallout was a high point. But to continue a franchise like this, I don't think they need to take a 10-year break and then reboot. I think they could easily do a handover. And as part of that handover, it would be very, very simple to say, okay, well, here's where the world is right now. The IMF are needed more than ever. Introduce a few new people. Do what they've done so far. Have a rotating cast of side characters. Be clever. Have your Ving Rhames, have your Simon Pegg set up there that they can come and go in, future movies. Learn from what they've been successful with. And then cast it well. And I think, Paul, that's the thing. Who takes the Tom Cruise?
Yeah. Who takes the Ethan Hunt mantle is a fairly big one. I do think I have some names, which is
Continue.
one of them is Miles Teller, which is one of Tom Cruise's co-stars in Top Gun Maverick.
Yep.
I think he's kind of on the up and up in a very good way. He's shown that he has the kind of chops to do action and adventure and stunts and everything. So yeah, I think that he's a good possible choice.
Yeah.
For the thing. He also has good chemistry with Tom Cruise already, so kind of thinking.
True, as far as handover goes.
Yeah. I have a few others. Do you want me to
Go for
through
it.
them?
Who have you got? Give me
Yeah, so
what
I've
you
got
got.
so Glenn Powell, also in Maverick, also very
He was
good
on my list.
kind of person. Yeah, which was I do also then have which was Florence Pugh is one of our big favorites here on this channel.
On my list, and like people are going to go, "Oh, you're going to gender bend?" No, you're not gender bending anything here. It's just another team, and I think Florence Pugh, if she doesn't feel like Marvel is her future as far as franchises go, she could do with a franchise. She can still be a big actor and do any kind of movie. She's the best actor of her generation, in my humble opinion. Why not be centerpiecing a Mission Impossible? She's got she's got the moves.
Yeah, very easy. It wouldn't be too much of a changeover from which was her character in Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So like but taking more of a lead role and more kind of I guess they're taking more of an ownership over a franchise themselves. Though I don't know, are they taking over ownership of a franchise already with Marvel?
Well,
Kinda
that will be our take on it in some ways, considering a video we recently did. But you picked Florence Pugh for one of the same reasons that I had her on my list, and that is, she's shown that Tom Cruise-esque, not afraid to leap off a building. Would like to maybe, there's a suggestion that she would like to be more involved with her own stunts. Now, like I say, nobody's ever going to be able to be doing a Tom Cruise unless they're rich enough to finance their own movie insurance, because Tom Cruise is pretty exceptional on that. So business is going to keep, no matter how adventurous you are, business will keep you away from doing the really, really dangerous stuff, which is probably quite right. Stunt professionals are stunt professionals for a reason. But I think she can pull off Spy. I think she can pull off all that's needed. So far of the three choices, because Glenn Powell was there for me, I'd like to see Florence Pugh most. Who else have you got?
I think Florence Pugh. Yeah, I think I'm kind of trying to think of like a leading people kind of thing. I do know that Lewis Pullman was another one of my choices because I think he's on an up and up trajectory.
And he's been in both Maverick with Tom Cruise and in Thunderbolts with Florence Pugh.
Yeah, so I definitely feel like they're on an up and up. As long as you don't call them Bob, you should be kind of fine.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Another one which when we were running through a couple of names before, this is one that wasn't on the list originally. Michael B. Jordan.
Interesting choice. And he's quite the franchise player all over the place.
Yeah. Now, My
Do you want to get
only
Ryan Coogler to start directing Mission Impossible movies with Michael B. Jordan, and maybe we'll have the best of all worlds?
Yeah, my only the kind of asterisk to the Michael B. Jordan thing is I don't think he needs it.
No,
Like kind
certainly
of
not.
I don't think any of the other actors that we've mentioned here needs it either. I definitely think that he's kind of the fringe case that I would have as a kind of thing. Either introduce him as a character within the
Yeah,
Mission Impossible. I think he'd be very good. I think it's just I just enjoy seeing him on the screen,
yeah.
kind of thing. I do know that this is one that you might Anna Taylor Joy.
Yeah, and the reason Paul's saying that is because I have said that Anna Taylor-Joy cannot blend into the background in anything,
Yeah,
and that's the only problem with the spy thing. And honestly, I like it's a bit of a weak sauce for me. I think Anna Taylor-Joy's, she's incredible and she's proven she can do anything. I just have sometimes I have a hard time with her head being one that doesn't stand out of a crowd, which is
yeah.
a weird way to say it.
We talked about it before, yeah, because we had the conversation that that obviously within espionage movies, certain types of people aren't very wouldn't be very kind of telling as a kind of everyday person. Tom Hardy is not the kind of person that you want, kind of reading a newspaper and
Yeah,
trying to seem nonchalant. Neither is Dave Bautista. There's plenty of people that just don't fit the bill of kind of like blending into the background. And
yeah,
although Anna Taylor Joy, I would agree, also doesn't really blend into the background. They have chops with action
oh,
with
yeah.
Mad Max Furioso and stuff like that. That I think would be a good fit.
And honestly, you bring up a Tom. I think everybody wants Tom Holland to do everything, and he's the right age and all the rest. I wouldn't pick Tom Holland. I wouldn't pick Tom Hiddleston either, even though I think he's a more interesting choice than Tom Holland. Um, Paul, honestly, there's only one that you haven't mentioned who would be my choice, and I think if you're going to go for somebody slightly less known, whose maybe career could use it to call back to what we were just saying, a guy called Jack Loudon. Now, the first time I ever tweeted anything and ever sent a tweet, it was after seeing a film called Fighting with My Family, and it's where I saw Florence Pugh for the first time. And I said, I'd never heard of this person. They're amazing. And, she's going to be a massive star. And she turned out to be. But I also, in the same thing, mentioned Jack Loudon, the guy who played her brother in that movie. He's gone on to do really well in lots of different things. Mostly he's now known from Slow Horses, an Apple TV. What's the name of the lead guy?
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, thank you. Gary Oldman led show. And he's incredible. And it is actually about spies. He can definitely do the physicality. He can definitely do, he can do an American accent really convincingly. He can do any accent he wants really convincingly, it would appear, because he's Scottish and you'd never tell. He's incredible. And I think he's the type of person that you could build a franchise around. Take somebody, start back with lower budgets for your Mission Impossible. Spend your budget where you need to make sure you're never losing the big set pieces, but don't spend 70 million trying to make sure that you're going to get, Tom Hardy or Harrison Ford or somebody to do this. You don't need the biggest household name. You just need a good Mission Impossible movie with a decent ensemble with Tom Cruise at the start to hand over and then build out from there. And I think he'd be a perfect choice.
Yeah, I think I don't know Jack London myself, but which was I do think that it's starting slow with certain people who you can build a franchise around. I think starting slow is very important, and the people that we've mentioned, I don't think you would start as slow with them. I think they're too big
No.
of a names in a lot of cases that you wouldn't be able to start slow.
And budgets have to be considered
Mm,
because you're going to want to pay Tom.
yeah,
So yeah, there's some advantages to maybe getting somebody at the start of the upswing. So maybe more of a Pullman or I guess of the list that you gave, Lewis Pullman is the one that's at the start of their upswing more. Miles
mm,
Teller's already had his Oscar moments, with Whiplash and stuff. Um,
I'd say Miles Taylor's in that middle range, but then the rest I think are
mm,
you know
yeah,
are quite big
Michael B.
now.
Jordan ain't going to be cheap anytime
No,
soon.
no, no.
I don't think Sinners will be in the cinema forever, because they keep extending its run, which is fantastic for them and well deserved. And
Very good.
I think he like of all the people that doesn't need it right now, yeah, he doesn't need it. He could be asking for blank check stuff. So I'm pulling for the little guy, well, or
Yeah.
the little person. Considering Florence Pugh is also shorter than me, which very few people are. You know, I've loved Tom Cruise doing it for the little man all this time, so I wouldn't be against having a non 6-footer take the role. You know.
I get you. Which is so yeah. Any other choices you think?
No. I think it's time that we threw it over to the audience. The most important thing that we can get out of this video is your comments down below, letting us know who you would choose and how you would go forward with the Mission Impossible franchise. While you're on your way down, give us a like and a subscribe and a share and all that good stuff. But seriously, let us know if you like any of our picks or if you have an even better one of your own.
And if you choose to accept this mission, catch us next week, same time.
This video will self-destruct in 5 seconds. I've been Patrick.
I've been Paul.
And we've been Heroes Out.